Hi, the current health crisis is creating health awareness among millions of people around the globe. And I hope my Hope series on epidemics and pandemics, you can stretch it to other kinds of chronic disorders as well, helps people to achieve better health and longevity. Today I'm going to talk about another hormone. I've given an introduction about the benefits of hormones and cleared the confusion about steroids, and they are safe as long as you use natural steroids, followed by a lecture on one of the hormones that is known as the master of orchestra, thyroid hormones, and its significant effect on our immune system. Now today we will look at another hormone known as DHEA. It's a long name, Dehydroepiandrosterone, but you can just remember it as DHEA. Together with cortisol, adrenaline and noradrenaline, as well as aldosterone and other hormones, this DHEA is produced in by your adrenal gland, which is just located above your kidneys. The problem that we face, we all know that with aging, there is a decline in hormones. Almost all the hormones, probably with the exception of insulin, which usually goes up as we age, and estrogen, especially in men. All other hormones decline, and there is still a debate whether hormones decline first and then you start aging, or with aging followed by a hormone decline. But it is very much possible that a decline in hormones starts the aging process in us. So hormones, as I mentioned, they play a very critical role, especially DHEA on your immune system. A lot of hormones play a significant role. DHEA also contributes to a better immune function. So why DHEA levels are declining, and sadly even from the age of 25 to 30 now? A lot has to do with our diet and our lifestyle. First we look at diet. A high carbohydrate diet, as I mentioned before, means higher blood sugar, translated into higher levels of insulin. I've mentioned this, that high levels of insulin have a suppressive effect on not only on our immune system, also on the endocrine system. So it suppresses your thyroid activity, your adrenal activity. So this is why I always encourage my patients to eat a low carbohydrate diet, and especially if you do intermittent fasting, including regular fasting, you can do with water or vegetable juices. But basically, cutting down carbohydrates helps you to save your hormones. So diet is very important. The next factor that is affecting the adrenal health is sleep. Even children, sadly, are sleeping very late. And the best quality sleep that you should have during the period which your body actually heals and rejuvenates would be if you are able to have the deeper sleep between the 12 midnight and 3 a.m. This is your internal clock and you can't change it. We have no ability to change our circadian rhythms. So going to bed early and having good sleep is very, very important for general health and especially your adrenal health. Then another negative factor that is affecting almost all of us, including our children, is stress. There's so much of stress, even in school-going children. The challenges in life, in businesses, it's just stressful. So many of us find it difficult to remove that stress factor or alter it in any way. But it is possible that how you react to the stress can be altered. Simple methods that has been practiced among most cultures for centuries would be meditation, relaxation, soothing musics, prayers, all this is what should be done as the first thing in the morning before you start your life. And now we are burdened with too much of electromagnetic frequencies around us, and with the 5G, the evidence so far shows that it's going to affect us much more severely. And the use of gadgets like cell phones and computers which emit blue light. Now this is not much talked about. Blue light has a suppressive effect on the secretion of melatonin, that is the sleep hormone. So this is why there is people suffering from insomnia, including children, is so common, because blue light suppresses your melatonin. Now, when your melatonin is suppressed and you do not get adequate sleep, what happens the next morning is that your adrenal glands that produce cortisol, the anti-stress hormone, and DHEA with other hormones are also suppressed. So, which means in the morning, when you need an abundance of these hormones, you are having low levels of hormones that affects your mood and your quality of life and your ability to respond to stress, including your immune system. And because these hormones are produced later part of the day as a compensation, you are tired during the day and you become more active towards the evening and at night. So this is not how your body should function. So look at where you are living and whether the electromagnetic frequencies and the use of computers and cell phones that increase the blue light exposure affecting your health. Now, as far as the supplements are concerned, vitamin C, which we have spoken many times before in depth, and vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, are highly concentrated in your adrenal glands, especially vitamin C. Adrenal glands are small, probably the size of the thumb, but they have the largest concentration of vitamin C in the body. So if someone is deficient in vitamin C, and the only way to have sufficient levels is through supplementation, because I've mentioned before that our body has lost the ability to make vitamin C, and if someone is low in vitamin D as well, you are likely to have lower levels of adrenal hormones. Okay? Now, one important factor that we should remember about DHEA is this. With aging, we have lower levels of T cells. T cells form part of your cellular immunity. So they form cytokines to initiate the inflammatory response. They also activate the natural killer cells. They produce interferons. But the low levels of T cells blunts the response to vaccination. So how would vaccines work in an aging person who have blunted response to the vaccine itself because of low levels of T cells? DHEA increases the levels of T cells in your body. So we will look at how it helps the immune system. Now, the deficiency of DHEA can be felt in many ways. Generally, you may have tiredness, you may have less desire for sex, you may have reduced exercise tolerance, or you can have poor muscle mass. But DHEA deficiency is typically associated with autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and SLE. Most of these patients will have close to zero levels of DHEA or very low levels. DHEA deficiency is also associated with increased risk of diabetes, and the typical problems that the patients come to us with low levels of DHEA, they are generally less tolerant to noise or loud sounds, even loud music, and they have ringing in the ears called tinnitus. So these are all the signs of DHEA deficiency, including dry eyes and dry skin. So let's look at how DHEA improves your immune health. There are at least 3,000 scientific papers published about the benefits of DHEA, but it's hardly spoken about because we doctors are not trained in our medical school about natural hormones and their significant usefulness in our health. So this is why you don't hear about it. Second reason is DHEA being a natural compound, it cannot be patented, so there is no interest for anybody to invest so much in further studies or promoting DHEA for general health. DHEA is the most abundant hormone in our body and performs more than 150 functions in the body. So that is how important DHEA is for you and for me and for all those people who are deficient in it. So what does it do to immune system? DHEA increases monocytes. I've mentioned before that monocytes are precursor cells for macrophages, and macrophages, as part of the innate immune system, forms the first line of defense against invading pathogens, and in this case we can talk about this COVID-19 virus. So you need adequate number of macrophages and active macrophages. So increasing monocytes and thereby increasing the level of macrophages is a useful function of DHEA. It also increases the function of B cells, though not many studies show that there is a significant increase in the number of B cells, but their function is enhanced, so they are able to perform better. DHEA also increases your natural killer cells levels by up to 39%, and they also decrease inflammation. So if you look at all these functions, DHEA performs significant role in immune health. So if someone is deficient in DHEA, it is very likely that he or she suffers weakened immune system, and that increases your risk for infections, and as mentioned, it increases the risk of autoimmune diseases and diabetes as well. So what is the dose of DHEA that someone should take? Generally, the recommended dose is 50 milligrams for men and 15 to 25 milligrams for women on a daily basis. But of course, in long-term, with long-term use, you still have to balance the other hormone called cortisol. DHEA is so powerful in the body that even its metabolite, which is known as keto DHEA, has significant benefits on our immune system. So for those of us who are very particular about aging and health, we combine DHEA with keto DHEA, and keto DHEA can be taken in extremely high doses without any side effects. Generally, the recommended dose of keto DHEA is between 100 to 300 milligrams. So we have looked at DHEA, where it is produced, why it is the deficiency is so common. It is starting at a much earlier age. What are the signs and symptoms, your risk factors if the DHEA level is low, and how it helps with your immune system. So towards better health, thank you for watching.